Another idea that I was having while you were talking about Bill Burr, I own this special. You can get this on Amazon.
Oh wait,
Highly
it's
recommend.
upside down.
And it was
There.
not even correct. Yeah, Bill Burr. Let it go. Let it go,
Oh
Carlie.
gosh, I love that.
This,
That was
this is
hilarious.
You're listening to the Media Man Dan podcast, your place for music, movies, news, reviews, and interviews. Welcome to the show. Get ready to rock. Let's rock!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Carlie Shea, if you haven't ever been here before. And before we get into the video, I want to give a couple shout outs to some people who recently followed me on Instagram. If you're not, it's right there. Go to Instagram, give me a follow, and I'll try to give you a shout out. So, shout out to Media Man Dan.
Oh my god!
So for those of you who haven't already watched my reaction video to Tom MacDonald's White Boy, go watch that first, because the video we're reacting to today is Tom MacDonald's response to apparently all the hate that he got from White Boy, which, I mean, I'm not surprised that he got a bunch of hates. That's really stupid, but he was telling the truth, so people don't like that nowadays. But yeah, so I'm really excited. A lot of people requested this. They were like, oh my gosh, you gotta go see what he responded. So we're gonna watch that and see what his thoughts are on all the haters.
I built this in-house. They're the kind of people that be dying for exposure. They're the kind of people that get mad and lose composure. They're the kind of people that are never going forward. They're just the ones that are looking for apologies. Hating real loud, but they follow me. Screaming at the top of their lungs, I'm the scum of the earth. In the same damn breath, trying to preach about equality. Back before I wrote the song on race, they all ignored that I had something great. They tried to edge me out, they didn't hear my bars. They tried to tell me that I wasn't built for fame. Fast forward to when I'm paid. I ain't spend a dollar on a chain. I'll get my mama a house, I'll get my dad a car, I'll make my sister rich, she'll never work again. And this hater, it's so underwhelming. I'm conditioned.
Okay, so that was really cool. So he was just talking about, like, when he's getting paid, he's not spending it on dumb things like chains and, you know, luxury items. He's buying his mama a house, which is just awesome. That's so sweet. And, you know, he's gonna pay for his sister to never have to work again. And that's just, I think that just shows, like, what kind of person he is. And yet people are acting like he's some terrible racist. And that's just ridiculous.
For all the abuse, seeing the reaction videos all blowing up, and you're welcome for all of the views.
Obviously, reaction videos wouldn't be anything without these artists. So I'm appreciative to every artist that I've reacted to, because I wouldn't be here without them. But when I first started reacting, I thought that artists would hate reactors because they're just, you know, watching their videos, and some people take it the wrong way. But as I've grown as a channel, I've learned that a lot of artists actually really love reaction channels because they're getting so many views and advertisement for their music. So anyways, that was just a tangent, but I think that's really cool.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Media Man Dan podcast. Today, I have a very, very special guest with me. This is Carlie Shea of the incredible channel SheaWhatNow. Welcome, Carlie, to my podcast. I am one of your biggest fans, and I know there's a billion people saying that right now, but I truly mean it. It is a pleasure to have you on my podcast.
Oh, that was a great intro. Wow. I'm blown away. That was better than mine. Well, hi. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. It is an honor. And for everybody that doesn't know Carlie, she is a YouTuber, an abstract artist, a music lover, and she's running up 785 videos for you guys to go and check out on that channel, along with now 146,000 subs. That is how success works when you're a genuine, awesome person like Carlie is. So take notes, everyone. This is a big one.
Oh, I'm honored. Oh my goodness.
So easy question. How are you and how are the pups?
Oh my gosh. Well, easy answer. The pups are fantastic. They're always, in fact, I have Lola on my lap right here with me. She's all tangled up in the cords.
Oh,
But that's pretty normal for her. She's wherever I'm at, she's at. She's a YouTube dog. But yeah, and then Lulu's, I've had her since I was 10. She's in there eating and sleeping. So she's great. Life is good for them. For me, honestly, in the grand scheme of thing, life's great. a little ups and downs. Like, yeah, everyone knows I'm going through a bit of a breakup and everything that comes along with that. But in the grand scheme of things, life's really good. Like really good. So yeah, ups and downs, but every day gets a little bit better and just very grateful for the life I have, regardless of the struggles, the daily little struggles.
Wonderful answer. Also, I wanted to say, your move to Nashville is coming up soon. Are you looking forward to that? You said sometime in fall,
Oh.
right?
So I'm aiming for either, I had two decisions. It was either move in October or move at the end of my current lease as I am here in Virginia. My lease would be up in like 8 months, so I'd move probably in March. And I have been weighing on the decision, okay, do I move to Nashville ASAP Rocky and get my life started there, or do I, kind of continue to I just got settled down in Virginia. I've been here a little over a year. I feel like that's a pretty good amount of time to like finally feel settled. Like I have my solid group of friends, I have my places that I go to where I eat, my home's finally set up to where it feels like a home, and just life is finally balanced out. And then I'm like, hey, let's move to Nashville. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can you just chill for a second? Oh my, like, I just moved here from across the country by myself, didn't know anybody. And now I'm like, hey, let's go do it again. So I was kind of trying to decide between October and when my lease is up, kind of leaning towards when my lease is up, just so I have a little bit of time to really enjoy the life that I built here in this moment. And honestly, I just love my friends. I really would have a hard time leaving them. I'm like, oh man, but how lucky is it to have something that makes goodbyes hard? Like imagine if I was able to pack up and just leave like without any issues. That'd be kind of sad. So I feel really lucky to even have to question like, wait, do I stay or do I go? Or so I'm leaning more towards March of next year, just so I have time to save up because Nashville is getting a little bougie out there. And
Yes.
but yeah, I'm really excited about it. It was kind of an open thought of like, okay, where should I move next? Because I don't like to be comfortable. I think comfortable is a life killer and motivation killer, and it's a good thing to be comfortable, I guess, but also I just don't like it. I don't feel like I grow when I'm comfortable. Like you just get very stagnant. So I like to constantly be putting myself in uncomfortable, not dangerous. There's a difference between dangerous and uncomfortable. But I like to put myself in uncomfortable situations and lifestyles because that's when I get the most growth. So that's why I want to move mostly.
Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna ask about the move from California, but let's go back to that. So you're saying that the best way for you to adapt personally is to put yourself into those situations that a lot of people are straying away from, where they're like, "Ooh, that seems challenging." You
Yeah.
grow from that more. For me, I am so easygoing that I don't want anything to change usually,
Hmm.
and adapting takes a little bit of time for me. But if I were to sit on my desk, maybe that would be a start, right?
Yeah, hey, there you go. Yeah, I feel like honestly a lot of I mean, it's normal for us to want to be comfortable. Uncomfortable is uncomfortable. It's not a comfy feeling. It's that's one of my just favorite words is I feel uncomfortable. Because uncomfortable is tolerable. I used to have anxiety really bad, and I'd be like, all right, instead of anxiety, I just feel uncomfortable right now. And it would kind of just take away the scariness of it because you can handle uncomfortable. It's weird, but you can handle it. Um, but yeah, moved. I lived back in Bakersfield, California my entire life. I turned 20. Shoot, how am I? 22? Did I move when I was 22? 23? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Something right there. And I really just had been desiring to move out of my hometown. If you've ever been to Bakersfield, you know why. And if you haven't, just look up pictures of it and you'll understand. But there is just not a lot of growth. It's a very like agriculture farming country. Very hot, like 118 degrees last summer. It's a hot agriculture area. So
Like Death
not
Valley.
it's yep, pretty close to Death Valley.
Jeez.
We're down in the valley, right? Kind of like 2 hours from LA. So just number one worst air pollution. We're number one for a lot of awful things. So
Ugh.
But not to talk down totally on Bakersfield. There's people go there and they're hard workers. Bakersfield is a hardworking town and it's growing a lot, and it's great for some people and maybe not so much for a YouTuber or somebody that wants maybe a bit more out of life.
Hmm.
I don't. So yeah, so I thought, I was like, man, what is the scariest thing I could think of to do? And I was like, let's move. Let's move out. I wanted to so bad. It was terrifying. So I had started going to a young adults group at my church a couple months before I moved, and I became really good friends with my friend. And he was like, "Hey, I'm moving back to Virginia. I got into this nursing program." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome! Huh? What if I moved with you?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's crazy." And I was like, "But what if I did?" And and then he was like, "Yeah, you should. Like, why not?" So literally a couple months later, I packed up everything. I sold everything. If you have ever had to have a yard sale and you know how hard it is to get rid of the little trinkets and junk that you don't want to get rid of, imagine getting rid of everything you own. Like
Everything.
brand new things. It wasn't just yard sale junk. It was my entire life was out on the yard and people were walking up like, "Can I have $2 for this?" And I'm like, yeah, take it. I paid like 150 bucks for it. Yep, $2. Yeah, take
Did
it.
you
So,
have anyone by you that could help you get away from the sentimental effect of it?
no.
You're like,
I
Carlie,
mean,
just let them take it. Just let them take it.
yeah, I was that person. I was like, just take it. Like I could only take what could fit in my SUV, my little car. So I was like, oh, I can't take that anyway. So yeah, take it. But I think the excitement from moving kind of overlapped the hardness of letting go of the everything I owned. But yeah, had a big yard sale, made some dough for the move, and packed my car. My parents helped me pack it, and it took us took us like 4 hours. And it was jam packed. I tell you what, there was hardly any air in that car. The dogs were basically riding on the dash.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was, oh my gosh, it was insane. But yeah, so and then I drove across the country, had a couple bumps, literally and figuratively, and was terrified the entire time. I was like, what am I doing? I had never been to Virginia. I'd never been to the town that I moved to, didn't know a single soul, no family on the East Coast. Like,
Wow.
didn't know anybody.
And you still
And
followed through though. I mean,
yeah, I
that's
had
incredible
to.
commitment.
Thank you. I had to. I couldn't imagine, like, both decisions were hard, either going and being scared or staying and regretting it. And if I had stayed, I would have just, I mean, I would have moved eventually. So it's like, why not now? Like, this is a prime opportunity. I'm going with a friend at the time. And I have an already built-in roommate, and that made things so much easier for a little bit. But for the most part, I was on my own. It was like, all right, you're here in this town, go live, like go start a life. But I will say I did the most uncomfortable, scary thing I could ever think of doing, and I conquered it, and I grew so much from it. So I recommend doing uncomfortable things, even little uncomfortable things, every day, because that's where you really grow.
Perfect. Yeah, changing your habits, changing your habit cycle in general, just how you do everything every day. You got to analyze yourself. That's what I learned
Mm.
as I've grown into almost a man. I mean, I am a man, but I don't feel like a man yet. And going on 30, it's unbelievable to me because I'm just like, wait a second. No, no, no. Listen, I know it was 10 years ago, but high school, I just finished it. Like that's
Oh
where my
my
mind's at.
gosh, it feels like that. I thought, my goodness, that is the truest statement ever. I feel like I'm still in high school. I feel like I'm 18 years old.
Yep.
And for some reason, I thought I would kind of transform into this completely different human. And I guess I have, we all do after high school, I guess, hopefully for most of us. But I'm like, I'm still me. Like I'm still the same Carlie I was in high school, but just maybe a little bit smarter. But yeah, it feels like the same person, just different. I don't know.
Awesome. Speaking of habits that you changed over time, since I've been watching your channel for almost 3 years now, I think maybe exactly three
Oh,
years. Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
I
so
love your
sweet.
passion for disc golf. You got into that,
I
and you were
did.
really, really good at it.
Thank you.
What was the main like reason? Was it just because you wanted to find that discomfort and you're like, let me try something new that's completely out there?
No, I wish. No, my boyfriend at the time, my ex-boyfriend, he loved disc golf. We lived in Bakersfield together. He's a YouTuber as well. And we'd go play disc golf, and I was like, this is stupid. This is a dumb game. I wouldn't say that to him, but in my mind, I'm like, this is so dumb. I hate this. And I would literally we'd be at the park and I would just sit down on a blanket and watch him throw a frisbee and be like, all right, cool. Have fun. That's cool. And then finally he was like, just throw one. And I was like, okay. And I threw it and it was awful. And I was like, that just made me feel even worse. I hate it even more now. And he was like, just try one, try again. And I threw it and it was a little bit farther. And I was like, this feels a little bit farther. And I tried it again and it freaking got me hooked. It's like the progress that you see is exciting. And with disc golf, a lot of it's kind of immediate. Like you just kind of fix a couple little things here and there, and then you can get decent, I guess. Or at least in my case, that's how I felt. But so yeah, so then it went from me sitting on the blanket watching him to, hey, like, let me borrow one of those discs, like let me play with you. And then it became our thing. We just would go out and play disc golf, and we would go to like the doubles. We'd have local doubles where we'd all meet up with all the disc golf players, and I was the only girl all the time. There was no other female disc golf players.
What?
It was just me and like 30 guys.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was like, I need some girls here. But
Testosterone heavy, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was fine. They were all super cool. They were really nice guys. Like that is one thing I've learned about disc golf players. They're very chill. You're not really gonna meet any unchill players except like the professionals that freak out when they miss a putt. But
Take it too
but for the
seriously.
most part, it's super chill. Usually people are walking around with like a beer in their disc bag and stuff like that. So super nice. They were very welcoming, made me feel like part of the group. But yeah, so then we started competing in the tournaments, and I just grew to really like it. It was very challenging. I enjoy a good challenge, and disc golf is like a puzzle. It really is. You have to figure out. A lot of people don't know that discs are made differently. They think every disc is identical and it flies identical, and how you throw it's identical. And it's like, no, like some are made to curve, some are great for getting around a tree, some are great for distance. Like it's just insane. I had no idea how much diversity went into it. But yeah, and then I competed for the first time in a women's global event up in Visalia, California, and it was my first time competing. It was like 100 degrees out there. It was hot,
Oh,
and I think it was 24 holes on the same day, and then I ended up winning. I got first place, and I didn't know that was going to happen. That wasn't necessarily the goal. I just wanted to compete. And yeah, and that was just a really cool moment. I was like, all right, I'm a disc golfer. In fact, that's my trophy right up there, is
yeah.
from
Well
that one.
deserved too. It's so
Thank you.
cool that like such a sudden change in habit and the passion that you had behind it like grew into this whole I'm going to be the best at it. And you're just playing for fun at first, but you
Mhm.
start understanding, like you said, it's like a puzzle. You're
Yeah.
dissecting every single like player's way of like throwing it. I'm guessing that you don't do like the quick wrist with the 90s frisbees that we used to have, those little plastic ones you throw to
No.
dogs.
Oh yeah, no, I suck at throwing a real frisbee, but give me a
Oh,
disc golf disc and I'll be all right. But I can't throw a
okay.
frisbee. Oh my
See,
goodness.
when the big passion of that sport came to literally my backyard, like my backyard is a giant field full of disc golf, and
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
yeah, it is, and I started seeing people just playing with frisbees, and I was like, wait a second, I did that for free as a child, and these people are like, professionally playing this, spending money on this weird little frisbee that's not the same size as the big one. It's like
It's changed.
this doesn't make sense, and now
Disc
I
golf has been
understand.
around forever. ever. Yeah. And people
Yeah.
don't understand until they actually play, myself included. I was like, that is stupid. You look like a fool. And now I have a trophy freaking playing it. But yeah, that's why I think honestly people should just try things. You never know what's going to be your favorite thing or your passion if you don't try.
And
You could miss your calling.
speaking of passion, speaking of calling, when you started on YouTube, how nervous were you in the beginning?
Hmm, that's a good question. I gotta think back to that time. Um, so I started doing YouTube videos, like little vlogs and little cooking videos in high school. I wanted to be a YouTuber, and that was the big prime time. It was like 2015s, where, Jenna Marbles, all those YouTubers were huge. And I was like, I want to be a YouTuber. So I started filming little videos, and then I gave up. I was like, I'm not gonna be a YouTuber. And I don't even think I posted them on YouTube. I just filmed them for fun.
Oh,
And yeah, I just enjoyed filming. So um didn't even post them, didn't share them. And then years later, COVID hits, and the same disc golf ex, we just moved in together. A month later, COVID hits.
mm.
And we both lost our jobs, which is awful. I like working. I gotta have a job. I gotta do something. I can't just sit around and do nothing. So we were hanging out, and stimulus comes out and all that fun stuff. And he was showing me No Life Shack. And I was like, I had never heard of reaction videos. I hardly watched YouTube. It was not in my realm of things that Carlie does. And so he showed me No Life Shack, and I was like, that is hilarious. He's so funny, especially his metal videos. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
kills me. So he was the first reaction video I'd ever heard of. And my ex at the time, he was like, you should try it. Like we don't have anything else to do. Like you should try filming one. And he'd started filming some. And I was like, okay, like we don't have anything else to do. Like, why not? Um, so I had a really crappy little laptop. I don't even think I had a webcam at that point. I think it was just built in on my crappy laptop. No microphones, no backdrops or anything, just a wall in our second bedroom. And so I sat there and I filmed Joyner Lucas's Will, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think I was nervous because I didn't have any subscribers. No one was going to watch it. Like, why would I be nervous? I'm just watching a music video.
Takes the pressure away. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll just do this. Nobody's going to watch. I think the only thing when I rewatch that video, very rarely, but when I rewatch it, the only thing that I do notice differently is how I speak to the camera. I was very awkward in front of the camera. I didn't know how to film a reaction video. And I know people are like, what do you mean you don't know how to film? It's a reaction. You just react. I was like, there is so much more that goes into it than just sitting in front of the camera. Like
Yeah.
there's so much behind the scenes that people don't realize, and a lot of psychology behind it. So yeah, the first one, I don't think I was that nervous. I don't remember being super nervous. Like I said, nobody was gonna watch. I wasn't planning on becoming a YouTuber. I just was bored, and it was COVID, and wanted to film a YouTube video. And then I want to say within the first month, I was up to 1,000 subscribers, and the channel was just popping. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? I think those first 100 subscribers was the most excited when it comes to amount of subscriber milestones. The
Oh, yeah.
first 100, I was like, I made it. I'm a YouTuber. Oh my gosh, I am cool. Like that was so exciting. That and 1,000. Had a little party for 1,000. But yeah, so don't really think I was too nervous. Just had no idea what I was getting into, if anything.
Awesome. And you actually knew where the camera was to look at. Like most people, they look at themselves. We look at ourselves
Right.
on
Yeah,
screen.
you
We're
could be
like,
like,
Oh, yeah, that's okay. I look good. Like that's what my mindset was at. My first ever like video I ever made, I had a like selfie stick on my bed.
Oh
I
my
put it up
gosh.
with shoe boxes, which I still have next to me. I put some shoe boxes on the bed. I like tried to get it right. My mom walks in and she's like, Daniel, you gotta go to bed. It's like it's coming late on. I'm like, Mom, I
Oh
told
my
myself I was gonna make a YouTube. I actually have footage of that.
Mom, I'm
Prove it.
working.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Not sure why you're obsessed about this right now. I told you it was supposed to be done January 1st. I understand, but you know what? It's a set goal.
This is where my mindset was at. I had already proposed to Allison, my fiance, and
Oh.
yeah, so I told her, I said, I want to try this YouTube thing. I want to talk to people about like movies and music. That's what my whole channel, Media Man Dan, was like, media,
Awesome.
multimedia. And
Mhm.
so I was like, this is gonna work. And I sat here so nervously and I reshot it 3 times. I did directly through YouTube. I didn't have a laptop or anything. So it was through an Android phone,
Oh wow.
terrible quality. No microphone, of course, and
Mhm.
poorly lit, like
Mhm.
always. But
Yep.
I felt something that was like I could do this. I could do this. So a couple videos in, which are no longer and they're never going to be seen again, were like little movie reviews I did. A couple
Oh, we need to bring those back.
Right, that's what, yeah, I'm gonna find. I know one of them is on an SD card on my camcorder somewhere, so I'll find that, and that's what I'll upload, and I'll be like, "Happy anniversary to one of my worst videos!" Woo!
Oh, you gotta have the bad videos though. Like that's progress. That's what the best part is. You get to look back at where you first started and compared to where you are now. Like that, those are the best ones.
The stupid stick fault.
Yep. And so the one that I did keep after my first video ever was my first time gaining confidence on screen. I literally sat here, just
Oh.
talked directly about whatever was happening recently in the news. The Jonas Brothers got back together. A new album came out that I wanted to listen to.
What's up, guys? It's Music Man Dan. Yes, I'm holding a microphone. Yes, it looks ridiculous. And yes, I'm going to be putting it down now.
And I said, I don't care. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to put it up. That's what's going to happen. And I was like, I finally felt that I could communicate what I was trying to from the beginning. Because the beginning I was so
Wow.
nervous. I was like, hi, I'm Media Man Dan. Favorite band
Look
is
how far
Red.
you've come.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
got
gosh.
so like it just snapped into me and I was like, this is what I want to do. But yeah, so the confidence of starting YouTube was so like challenging for me to get. I was always an introvert as a kid. I was bullied a lot and that did not
Mhm.
help it in any way.
Right.
But then I finally started standing up for myself around middle school, high school, and I started becoming more extrovert than ever before because I had got interested in hip hop music thanks to my ex at that time.
Oh.
Yeah, hating Eminem. So I started jumping into Eminem.
Oh.
And it was a wonderful trail. And speaking of that trail, let's go all the way to the trail of breadcrumbs that we should be talking about right now.
Yeah.
The shirt that I'm on, the shirt that I'm
Okay.
wearing, I should say,
Yes.
Hangover Gang, also related to Eminem. See what I do? I connect them.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
Dear Slim, I thought you might have heard of me maybe, because lately everywhere I turn, someone's comparing us crazy.
Hangover Gang is the reason that I really jumped back into your content because I was watching it before. My friend told me about your NF reactions, and he was like, "You got to see this girl. She actually likes this artist, and she knows how to talk about it." And I was like, "Oh, what?
Wow.
There's a reaction channel that cares about music? Oh, yes,
I
I'm there."
I remember I'm pretty sure it was you that messaged me saying, "Hey, my friend showed me your videos." I'm pretty sure that was you, and that was a couple years ago.
Yep,
That I
like
remember
2021 or
that.
so.
Like
Yeah.
my friend told me about your channel and I just started watching. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." That's
Yeah,
so
it
cool.
was so nice though, and just your overall like aspect of like positivity and smiling, and like you said, you're always thinking about the psychology of what a
Mhm.
reaction is. And I tell my friends all
Mhm.
the time, they're like, Dan, when you're doing interviews, you're like looking at your camera and then you're looking at them. I'm like, why do you, what? They're like, why do you do that? And I was like, because they see me, they need to have
Mhm.
that eye contact. We need like body what do you say, reading the body
Mhm.
language, that's it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, it's extremely important. And so when I saw that from you, I was like, oh wow, she's really got this down. And then you were growing, and I was like, yes, you're so big right now. This is fantastic. And then
Oh.
Tom McDonald, now we'll go all the way back, drops
Yeah.
People So Stupid.
Oh my gosh, I love that song.
Tom McDonald suddenly becomes less of the guy that was in that annoying ad with too many tattoos, and now becomes the guy that's speaking for free speech and for the rights. When a time where it seemed like everybody was in their lowest moment, he was making fun of the bad people. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like exactly what we needed right now. And you were right on that train as well. And speaking of Tom, speaking of his music, speaking of everything like that, how was it to be able to actually chat with him and Nova for the first time?
Oh my gosh. I gotta start off by saying I love Tom McDonald and Nova Rockefeller. Like everybody knows that. I adore them. I look up to them a lot. They're a huge inspiration. So when I first started doing the reactions, Tom wasn't too far away from, I'd never heard of Tom McDonald, had no idea who Nova Rockefeller was, no idea, totally blind. And somebody requested it. They were like, hey, you should check out Tom McDonald. And I'm like, who is this? Who's this fool? Like, what? Oh my gosh. And I watched it and it was life changing. What the things that he said in his music videos, like you said, during that time of 2020 where everything was extremely scary. We were just constantly fed news and just politics 24/7. Hearing the things that Tom McDonald said in his People So Stupid. Oh my gosh, it was so refreshing. I was like, I can't believe this guy's saying this right now. I can't believe this. And I at the time was terrified to say anything not PC.
Mhm.
I was so careful with the way that I spoke not to upset anybody. And, as I continued to react to Tom McDonald, that, kind of filter kind of started to, go down a little bit. And I was like, well, if Tom can say this, he's got millions of views. If he can say this and he's alive and well, why can't I speak my truth? Like, I hate saying that. Like, this is my truth. I hate that. I take that back.
So
But
Gen Z of you.
It's my truth. Don't fight me on it.
it was so inspiring. I was like, look at this crazy dude out here saying insane things. Like he's gonna get shot. Like, oh my
Yep.
gosh. And he was so inspiring. So I reacted to People So Stupid. And I believe that's one where he dressed up like Mr. Rogers, I believe.
Yes.
And he had Jenna sitting next to him, which I love Jenna. We were friends on. Jenna's his sister, who plays the newscaster right next to him. It's so cool looking back now. But he had commented when I was reacting, I was like, man, he's Mr. Rogers. I want to be his friend. And he commented and he was like, you're such a dork. Like, I love you. Like, we can be friends. And oh my gosh, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, Tom McDonald called. I called my mom. I told her, and she was like, what? Who's Tom McDonald? And and then from that point on, I think a couple days later, Nova had followed me on Instagram, and I, with my ex at the time who does YouTube, I was like, dude, Nova followed me on Instagram, Tom's girlfriend. And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah. And she messaged me and she was like, I love your videos. And oh my gosh, that was one of the coolest days out of my YouTube career was talking to them. And then from then on, it's been a couple years and we've gotten to grow friendship, and they just continue to inspire me all the time. Like I look up to them, and it's just amazing what they're doing. They will always inspire me.
Fantastic. Also, shout out to the Hangover Gang. I have at least 6 albums thanks to that reaction that you did to them. So, Tom, she's very marketable. Make sure that you give her some awesome spotlight in the future because, we're out here looking for great music. We find it through reaction channels and then we buy your merch.
Oh, I love that.
Win, win, win.
I know. I'm gonna tell them, get out here. What are you doing? Oh my gosh.
But
yeah,
speaking of
great.
famous encounters, awesome people, and unbelievable events, you ended up on a Megadeth Instagram page.
Yeah.
The Megadeth Instagram page.
Megadeth.
What was your reaction to this? This is like the most intense.
Oh my gosh. It's almost imposter syndrome. I didn't know who Megadeth was before reaction videos. A lot of my career as a YouTuber, Like everything I react to, I have never heard. People are like, that's not true. And I'm like, it is. I've never heard these songs that I react to. And a lot of them I'd never heard of the artist before. And with Megadeth, I think I, maybe heard of them previously, but couldn't tell you a single song. So I had hardly heard of Megadeth and decided to do a reaction to them. And through YouTube, I've grown a love for metal. I did not listen to metal growing up. No, but now I'm into, I love heavy metal. And so, anyways, I reacted to Megadeth, and I want to say a couple days later, I got a message on Instagram from the director of Megadeth's music video, and he was like, "Hey, I just watched your reaction. It was one of the best ones I've seen out of all the reactions." And oh my gosh, I like to give so much credit to the directors and the people that work on the music videos, because those people just don't get enough credit. Like, I love that the artist is, the main focus and people love them because they deserve it. But man, there are some people that put so much hard work in that don't get the credit for it. And I'm like, so I messaged him and I was like, dude, you're directing the music video was amazing. And I just wanted him to feel super hyped and to feel proud of himself, because we wouldn't even have that without him. So hearing from him was really freaking cool. It was super kind and validating to hear him say, like, I made this video and you reacting to it made me happy. Like, oh, that is a cool compliment. And then shortly after, I got a message, I forget by who, one of the subs, they messaged me and were like, "Hey, you're on Megadeth's Instagram." And I was like, "What? No, I'm not." And sure enough, I go to their Instagram, not their story. I'm thinking, okay, they reposted me on their story. Cool.
Yep.
Like that's just as cool. They have, I forget how many, like over 1 million subscribers on Instagram or followers. So they had taken clips from my reaction and posted it to their Instagram page and shouted me out. And it's kind of funny because a lot of the comments were really mean.
Yeah, I saw those. I was defending you as much as I could. I was like, oh
Thanks,
God.
at that point, you just let them have it. I really could care less. But just the excitement of that. I was like, wow, that was kind of not the first time that it had really set into me that, okay, this is getting big. Like, this is going somewhere. I'm getting recognized by really big fans and people. And that was just a really freaking cool moment that I would never ever expect to get to experience in my life, is Megadeth seeing me, Dave Mustaine, knowing who I am. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was so cool. So it was just an awesome moment.
Well, you actually answered one of the next questions I had, and that was speaking of metal, how has your perspective on it changed? You've now become somewhat of a metalhead. Have you found a band that you are just like really into right now? Obviously, Megadeth, but any other bands right now that you are like, wow, this is such a good band. I wish everybody knew them.
Oh my gosh. Well, Disturbed is definitely one of
Yes.
them. I love Disturbed.
From Chicago,
I could
learned
just
that
name
recently.
so many. Oh, really? And then Nightwish. Love
Woo!
me some Nightwish. They're fantastic. But I mean, honestly, it has been awesome, and I really do owe it all to the subscribers, because it's you guys and them that are showing me the best of the best with metal. And again, I did not grow up listening to metal. I hated metal. I was the type of kid that was like, if we pulled up next to somebody in their car that was blasting like heavy metal, I'd be like, that's so immature. Like, who do you think you are? And now I'm the person that pulls up blasting like Down with the Sickness. And I'm like, I don't care what you say, I'm rocking. And people are laughing at me all the time. So definitely did a 180 on that one. But yeah, I had no idea. Metal has been one of my biggest reaction categories. It's been one of the most requested, one of the most viewed videos. And it's just got a different energy. Like, my mind is very loud. I think probably way more than I should. And when I'm listening to metal, it kind of quiets it. So I love that. And it's just so much fun. Like you get to headbang and just move around, and
Yeah.
there's just an energy and fun to it. So
Truly one of my favorite reactions is your first reaction to metal, which was Slipknot. And
oh my gosh, duality.
just so good. So perfect. I was
Yeah,
like, this
thanks.
looks like somebody who's never listened to metal before. And look at
I
that, you are
hadn't.
one.
I hadn't. Oh my gosh. Duality was, oh, that was something else. I still remember all the hate I got because I called some of the, so a lot of the guys in that video had like dad bods, which are great. Love a dad bod. But I'd pointed out, and which is something I've learned nowadays, is what to point out and what not to point out in videos. And I'd said like, oh my gosh, look at all these guys with dad bods like wrecking this house. And people were like, ugh, they're not dads, they're like young. Like, oh, I got freaking wrecked in the comments
And
for
now they're
saying,
all dads. How do they feel now?
yeah, I'm like, I was just telling you your feature, sorry.
Have you heard
Oh,
Corey Taylor's son's project?
no.
No, I can't remember the name of the band. It might be Darko. But they're really heavy. They're really cool. And all I think of, just like you said, dad bods. All I think of is like, can he be a dad though? Once again, I'm back in high school. There's no possible way that
Right.
Corey Taylor is a father. No way. So yeah, that's
Oh my
just
gosh. Could you
eye-opening.
imagine having him as a father? Like, what a life.
Yep. He's probably very, very intense when he has to lay down the law at the house.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
Actually, he's probably one of the quiet ones. Most metalheads are like, I enjoy a nice classical piece while I sip my tea. It's like,
He's
what?
like he's like Bob Ross at home, but Corey Taylor on stage. Oh my gosh.
That works out perfectly
That
for the
makes
next
sense.
question.
Oh
Um,
boy.
when you got into comedy on your channel, one of my biggest like there's a couple times where I will get so stuck on what I've always watched with like my favorite channels. I'm always going through one by one by one. And then every so often I'll be like, oh, Carlie put up something that I know again. Okay, cool. Let me check that out. And it was Bill Burr. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. That reaction, obviously the one that's like the most known, the biggest
Mm-hmm.
amount of views, but it was so perfect because you even said it in the middle. You're like, I really don't laugh at comedy. And I was like, how do you not laugh at comedy?
It's true. So yeah, Bill Burr, had never heard of him before reaction videos, like a lot of my content. Most of my content is things I never heard of before. Comedians, didn't grow up watching comedians. I feel like statistically more guys watch stand-up comedians than girls do, but don't quote me on
Ooh,
that.
I don't know.
And yeah, and same with YouTube. I know that for sure. Statistically more guys watch YouTube than girls do. But yeah, for stand-up, I was told to react to Bill Burr, and I'm like, who's this guy? I don't know who Bill Burr is. And that was my first reaction to him. He was canceling PC culture and totally making fun of them. I man, I wish I could go back and redo it because like I said before, the Tom McDonald universe, I was very, very scared to say something incorrect. I was scared of getting canceled. I was scared of PC culture. I was scared of just saying the wrong thing and getting totally just hated on in the comments. So when I was watching Bill Burr in that video, you can tell that I'm very cautious and very nervous with what I say. And I feel like a lot of people caught on to that. So I couldn't be as general and very, I guess, genuine watching it because I was so nervous of saying something wrong. But yeah, and I'm just not a super, I think it's very stubborn, but when I know that somebody's trying to make me laugh, I don't want to laugh. I like crowd work, Andrew Schultz crowd work when somebody's very witty off the top of their head because I love intelligence. And not to say that other, stand-up comedians are not intelligent, they totally are, but with crowd work, I think it's just so extra witty to just be funny on the top of your toes. And that's the kind of comedy that I like. So I like crowd work and stuff like that. But with Bill Burr, he's so insane and he says the most obscure things, but they're true. Like he just says it how it is, kind of similar to Tom McDonald, but just in maybe a goofier way. And I've grown to just have so much respect for him and love for him. And For some reason, that video is my biggest video. It's got over 500,000 views. And I kind of almost not regret it, but I wish I hadn't been so scared of PC culture at that time, even though it's literally the video is him canceling PC culture. So a lot of people in the comments were like, wow, like you didn't even laugh. And it's like I wanted to. It's just I was nervous. I was scared.
Let me tell you, this is not to tell you to do something, but a great idea would be whenever that video came out, like an anniversary special, is you reacting to your reaction and
And
then
saying what I
talking
really
about,
wanted to
yeah,
say.
talking about what you actually want to say. And also another idea that I was having while you were talking about Bill Burr, I own this special. You can get this on Amazon.
Oh wait,
Highly
it's
recommend.
upside down.
And it was
There
not
we
even correct. Yeah, Bill Burr. Let it go. Let it go, Carlie.
Oh, gosh, I love that. That was
This
hilarious.
is a fantastic special, and I highly recommend if you can to watch the whole thing and like put it up on Patreon or something. Like
Okay.
this is him at his absolute most brutal, honest like
Oh,
time. Like he was so insanely brutal when he was younger, and I love that because it's kind of the opposite of how I felt George Carlin did. George
I was
Carlin was
just about to
nice.
bring up George Carlin.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk Carlin because I saw you reacted to one of his videos recently, and I celebrated. I told everybody I was like, she's reacting to Carlin.
I love me some George Carlin. I'm sad he's not around anymore. I would have loved to hear his thoughts on the crap that we go through today.
Same.
So you think that George Carlin is not as blunt or brutal as Bill?
No. When he started, when he was
Oh,
in
okay.
his first, like, I don't know, 3 years of specials, he
Mm-hmm.
was doing this light-hearted, like, oh, we're just going to talk like this.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
he got so much more brutal in like the 80s and 90s. I have all of his
Yeah.
specials, and I love watching the evolution of George Carlin because you can just see how miserable he
He just
got.
gets so bitter. Oh my gosh. He really does turn into that bitter old man, but he's still speaking the truth. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh my gosh. He would just roast me. I guarantee it. He would just tear me apart in the comment section. He'd probably be like, don't watch my videos. Like,
If comedians could comment, if
oh,
past comedians could comment on modern comedy, that would be
oh
a
my
beautiful thing.
gosh. That would be awesome. I wish he was with us. But yeah, I feel like Bill Burr's kind of a younger version of George Carlin. They have
Yeah,
their own styles, but I feel like kind of just being so blunt and calling people out. They remind me of each other a lot, but my mom's actually the one that wanted me to react to George Carlin.
oh,
She watched him growing up, and I was like, okay, and I watch it, and this I'm expecting this, funny, cute little old man. Oh my gosh, was I shocked. This George Carlin is so brutal and blunt and cusses, and I was just like, Mom, like, what are you wanting me to watch? And I'm glad she did because he's hilarious. I've grown a love for him. I really have. But yeah, George Carlin's fantastic. I recommend him to everybody. Maybe not kids, but
yeah, definitely not kids.
maybe not kids.
And apparently he was a master of linguistics as well. That was like one of his big things, like how he would deliver a joke, the way that he
I
would
believe
change
that.
his vocal tone, and he focused on that a lot. And I would have loved to see him live had I known him when I
Mhm.
was like what was I, like 12 when he passed away? Yeah, of course. Let me bring
Oh,
my 8-year-old self out
yeah.
there and go watch some rated
I,
R comedy.
I'm surprised my mom didn't take me to see him. I mean, she likes him, so yeah, it's really too bad he's not around. There's a lot of great artists that aren't around anymore, like Mitch Hedberg and George Carlin, and it's just too bad.
But they're legendary, and they will never be known as anything but legendary.
Absolutely,
Their
absolutely.
legacy lives on. All right. Now I have to go into something that has a legacy brewing because this man is one of the best people on YouTube. You know him well. All of you guys have probably heard of the name Alex Hefner, or that guy that does hip hop head reacts. If you're back in the day, that was my favorite thing about him, was the switch over hip hop
Hmm.
head reacts to Slipknot. You guys both got into Slipknot to like really pick up the metal crowd, and
Hmm.
it's very rewarding. What do you think of Alex? How was it your first time really having a conversation with him? Because he's such a genuine person.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're bringing him up. I adore Alex Hefner. He is a great guy. Oh my gosh. Funny conversations. We'll get into that. But I actually he'd messaged me and was like, "Hey, I just watched some of your reaction videos. Love it. You're doing a great job. Just wanted to let you know, like, hey, you should try doing this with your thumbnails." And like he literally just messaged me out of the blue. I don't really watch YouTube videos, so I didn't know who he was. And that's me living under a rock and just having my head down. But didn't know who he was, went to his channel, was like, oh my gosh, this guy has like 800,000 subscribers. And I'm like, what is he doing? Trying to help me. I'm like, what are you doing with you have something better to do than message me and try to help me. So anyways, I messaged him back and was like, oh my gosh, hi. Thank you so much. He literally just messaged me to help me out. Like he liked my videos. He was like, I think if you try to do your thumbnails like this, might help you out. Try this and this. And I was like, dude, thank you so much. And it has. I've changed my thumbnails because of Alex Hefner. He's a freaking great guy. His content is hilarious. I do sit around and watch Alex Hefner videos. But we'd kind of become friends after that. And I had asked him, I was like, hey, I have a crap ton of questions that I would love to ask another YouTuber, especially at your level. And he was like, yeah, let's set up a phone call. And I was like, okay. And so we called and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was so nervous to talk to you and you're so easy to talk to. And this and that. We talked for well over an hour, I think. And he was like, I was nervous to talk to you. And I was like, what? I was like,
What?
why would you be nervous to talk to me? And he's like, well, I watch your videos. So I'm like, well, yeah, but anyways, so we were just being goofs. But yeah, and then literally the other day, he recommended that I try doing movie reactions back when we'd first started becoming friends, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Like he is killing it. Oh my gosh, he's killing it. His movie channel reaction has exploded. And he works so hard at it. He really does put in the work. Like he edits most of his videos and it takes him upwards of 14 to 16 hours. And like the dedication and the grind is there. He inspires me every day. But yeah, so I'd recently asked him because I had to take a little break to focus on the SheaWhatNow channel. And now finally I'm like, okay, let's do some movie reactions. We got some free time. And so I had asked him, I was like, hey, how do you line up the movie with your reaction? And to be fair, I just woken up. I was really, really tired and a little bit out there. And just really didn't think through the question. And I messaged him that and he was like, I'm confused. I press play and then it's lined up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a freaking idiot right now. It made sense in my head what I was trying to figure out. And because I used to have to line up my music videos and it was so hard because it had to be perfect. Yep. Yeah.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
OBS,
Oh
yep.
my gosh, what a pain.
It was so that's what I was thinking with the movie reactions. I was like, how do you line it up? And when you have an editor, how does he know what part you're at? And so anyways, that's what I was thinking. And I messaged him that. I was like, hey, how do you line it up? And he was like, I pressed play. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I feel so stupid right now. Please ignore me. Like if he blocked me after that, I would understand. I would understand completely. He probably should. But yeah, so he's a fantastic person. Him and his wife are just freaking goals. I literally just I just saw a photo they posted doing this beautiful hike in Waikiki, and I'm just like, wow, you are living the life, dude. So I'm so happy for him.
He's such an awesome person.
He is.
And I personally, I didn't know anything about him before I started watching the hip hop react stuff. And when I started analyzing his reaction style, I was like, oh, okay. So I have to be more aggressive, but less mean. Be like this way. I
Mm-hmm.
have to talk about something, and oh, I can be critical, but not too critical. And then I have
Mm-hmm.
to finish with some kind of like heartfelt message, or I just go with some dirty joke. He's like just all over the
Yep.
place. And I
You never know
messaged
what he's
him.
gonna say.
Yeah, I messaged him when I was doing my covers before I started making reactions. And I don't know why, but I was like super fanboy. I was like, hey, do you like rap music? I saw you like rap music. Do you like Joyner Lucas? Do you like these artists?
Oh.
And I started sending him like a couple of my videos, and he was like, hey, it looks pretty good, man. And I was like, Alex Hefner responded to me. I'm in
Oh,
like
that's
fame.
how
Like,
I
listen,
feel.
it's so cool. And so after I started analyzing, because I wanted to think about doing reactions, I didn't even want to go into it. Somebody requested it, and I was like, I'll do anything you guys want. If you give me a comment, I'm doing it. That's what happens,
Yeah,
because these
it's
days it's
fun.
so hard to get feedback from fans. And when you do get that feedback, you're like, you want it? Absolutely, you're gonna get it. That's what's gonna happen. But if you don't tell me, I don't know. Either way,
Exactly.
he told me, or no, I started watching his reactions, and like you said, he lines up everything perfectly, and you were like,
Mhm.
how does he do that? There is one, I think it was in his car, or maybe it was just one that was like a little second off. I heard it in his headphones, and I was like, the screen isn't there at that time.
Yep.
The screen is added in post.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And so I
Yep.
told myself, I was like, all right, I have the basic knowledge of this really, really easy editing program. I can do this. I think I can get this. And the way I would make reactions, this is going to sound like the ultimate overdone process.
Oh
I
no.
would first find the song,
Uh-huh.
the reaction, take the song, screen record the entire video that I reacted to. I didn't even upload it to YouTube yet.
Oh
Then I
my
would upload
gosh.
that, see if there was any copyrights, blocks, or anything on the actual video. Then I would say, okay, this one gets blocked for this. Put text over that. Then I would put it in my video. And I had a slow computer, so it
Oh.
would take me up to 10 to 11 hours to get all of this done for like 10 videos. I,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Wow, that's painful. That hurts to
it, it
hear.
it is painful, and I didn't know what OBS was, so that was all my
Oh,
fault, but worth it.
oh, so worth it. Once you get past, I feel like every reactor has to go through that issue of like, okay, let me just struggle with this for a little bit until they find the easier version. And honestly, I owe a lot of that, like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff to my ex at the time, because he was learning as well, and he would be like, oh, you just do this and do that. So like I didn't know how to do any of it, and he was learning, so he was teaching me at the same time. So yeah, I'm so technologically stupid that I'm just like, oh, okay, I hope that doesn't break, because if it does, I guess I'm done with YouTube. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I used to have to do as well. I would watch the video on the computer and then have to line up the music video and the music with
Yep,
it. And oh my
so
gosh,
painful,
that was awful.
especially
Yeah.
because you guys paused. I didn't know how to pause,
Yep.
so I would just play the whole
Oh
thing.
my God.
And obviously, people are gonna get like, Dan, I love that you play the music, but you're talking over it. And I'm like, well, I don't know, I
Oh,
can't pause.
I
It's
can't
it's on
pause
my
it.
phone.
That's so, oh, that's hard. Yeah, and the pausing, and then once you unpause it, it's got to be lined up perfectly. And oh man, that was so tedious. I would have to try to hear through the video through my headphones what part I was at in the song and
Yep.
try to line it up with that. And that's
Turn it up to 12 decibels,
yes.
then match the match the audio.
That's what I was thinking with the movie reactions. That's where that came from. I wasn't just full on stupid, like, hey Alex, how do you play the video? Like it wasn't like that. I was just thinking of the music videos. But man, he probably thought I was freaking
No,
stupid. I was
no,
like,
he was probably just like,
oh
it's a new one. It's a new one. This
yeah, he's probably
happens.
like, she'll get there. She'll get there. She's
I'm amazed that he reached out to you first. Like I was
I
expecting you to be like me
know.
and be like, "Oh my God, Alex, I love your content so much. What should I do to get better?" And he was like, "Hey, I saw all your videos." And I was like, "Yo, this needs better thumbnails." Like,
I
"What?"
know, I know. Well, and he wasn't the only one. I feel truly blessed in many ways, but also that imposter syndrome, like I said, sneaks in. It's like I was a waitress. I didn't like I'm just me. Like I'm just Carlie. And you know, I'm a normal, very normal person, a very goofy girl, and here I am, people get excited when I respond to them, and it's like, whoa, okay, whoa, I'm here with you. Like it's just mind blowing to me. Like it definitely sets in like, ooh, who am I? What is going on? But yeah, so Alex reached out to me. That was the coolest thing. I was like, how blessed am I that someone like you at your level comes to me and is like, hey, I want to help you out. Like that's freaking cool. And I want to pass that on to other reactors and other people in the YouTube industry or other just content creators. I want to be like, hey, I learned this, and I try to pass anything I learned from the, you know, that I call them the YouTube elders. You know, just anything I learned from them, I want to pass on to other people and my other YouTube friends, and just keep it going. But he reached out, and also Mr. Elboyd Reacts reached out to me, and oh my gosh, he is amazing. He talked about the grind as well. He reached out and was like, hey, I see you're doing this. You're doing things a lot harder than you need to be. And he basically just taught me completely new ways. I went from posting maybe one video a day, like barely even a video a day, to 10 a day because of Mr. Elboyd. Yeah.
That's the man. That's the magic right there.
He is, man, he's got it figured out. He's amazing. I definitely owe a ton of my growth to his knowledge and him helping me out. Like if you're gonna go support somebody, it's Mr. Elboyd. So he's amazing. So yeah, just having freaking amazing people reaching out to me being like, hey, I just want to help you. I'm like, why? Like, thank you, but like, why me? So it's just been really cool. Like, that's
You
just
were
a cool
chosen.
thing. I guess so. Shoot, I don't know. I'm very grateful though, and I, like I said, I want to pass that on to, you know, I got some of my best friends over at 307 Reacts. Anything I learned, I try to pass on to them, and vice versa. I wouldn't even have my channel without 307 Reacts. I tell you what, I I was a year into YouTube. Everything was getting copyright claimed. I was not making anything. All the videos were just getting like boom, boom, boom copyright claims. And I was getting so frustrated. I was working another job. I think I just hit 50,000 subscribers, but I was like, man, like this is great and all, and I'm glad we're growing, but like if you're not financially sustainable, and also because that was partly of the goal. I mean, I loved what I was doing, but I was getting so overwhelmed and frustrated by the copyright claims. And like I said, I was working another job and doing YouTube full time, and I was just like, I can't keep up with this. Like, and not to say that I would only do it for the money, but like if you're just not making a cent from it, it is hard doing that and working another job. It wasn't progressing.
Yeah.
So I made a YouTube, or not YouTube, I made a Instagram story, and I was just like, I'm so frustrated. Like this is going on, this is going on. I always like to be really transparent about stuff like that, and show the realistic side of content creating. And Chris at 307 Reacts had messaged me, had never heard of them, had never talked to them before, and he was like, hey, you know, I've been watching your videos for a year now, and I just wanted to pass this you know, tip on to you. And he taught me how to lift copyright claims, which doesn't always work, but I knew when I started YouTube that there was a way to fight them, but like you can fight them and they're still going to come back being like, no, it's copyright claim. It's like, good try there, bud. So I did that for a year thinking, okay, there's no point in even fighting them because they're going to come back being like, oh, too bad, you know, like good try. So he messaged me and was like, try this, do this, do this. And I literally don't think I would have, if he hadn't messaged me, I wouldn't have my channel. Like I would have given up. And because I was able, that day, he told me, I went back and did copyright claim, like fighting them, like 50 plus videos. I was like, fight. And a lot of them came back and were lifted. And I was like, wow, Chris, like, thank you. So just really people out here helping me, and just good guys. Chris and Matt over at 307 Reacts. We did a cover together. We did a Radiohead's Creep. So they're just great. I love them. So y'all can thank Chris and Matt over at 307 Reacts for saving SheaWhatNow. Don't know if they would
Absolutely.
be here.
Shout out to 307 Reacts. Big shout out to them for that. That
Mhm.
is incredible. You've had so many nice people that are,
So
in
many.
every range of popularity, and they just look at you as somebody that they want to be successful. Like they're like, this is the person that should go further. And that's how I was feeling for my friend Jimmy on Bottom Line, which was Bottom Line Podcast originally. And I told him, I was like, man, please, for the love of God, I am tired of doing the reaction thing. I also am not making any money from anything I do on YouTube. I literally just do it for fun. It's a hobby.
Oh,
And so I was telling him, I was like, you need to react to this artist. And I told him about Alip Bata.
I love Ali Bata. You know I do.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
That's awesome.
My biggest reaction ever. You liked it. Thank you for that as well on Instagram for the 100K. That was amazing. I was so excited. I was like,
That's
when is it going to happen?
awesome.
Any day now. Any day now. It took about 6 months, but it's fine. I
Hey, that's
was
okay.
I was over the moon. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I told him, I was like, dude, you have the
Gosh.
charisma, you have the passion, you have the knowledge, you've been doing this longer. Please do this reaction. Let your channel take off. And that's exactly how these people are feeling towards you. And I'm a tiny little channel, and he's got like 3,000, 4,000 more subscribers than me now. And all I do is just clap for him. I'm just like, yes, man.
That's awesome.
That's what you need to do. It's just supporting each other. That's
Mhm.
what YouTube was really about now. And I really respect anybody that you're telling me about these stories. What was the gentleman's name before, Chris? You were talking about that really showed you
Mr. L. Boyd.
L Boyd?
L. Boyd. L.
L
Boyd.
Boyd. L Boyd.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to look them up.
Yep. He's amazing. I think he's well over 800,000 subscribers as well. He just kills it. He posts pretty much like 10 videos a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the grind that I unfortunately could not do with a full-time job.
No, yeah, it's crazy. Well, and honestly, I mean, like I said, when I was filming one nearly maybe one video a day, and I went from 10 videos a day, and people are like, how? And I work, not that I work less, but it takes me less time to film 10 videos a day than it was that I was filming one video a day with what he taught me. And I asked him, I was like, how do you edit all those videos? Because editing is what really kills your time. And I was editing every single one of my videos, and that's what took all my energy to the point where it was like, okay, I finished one video, I'll post that. Like, oof, I did my work for today.
Yeah.
And I grew the channel to 100,000 subscribers with about one video a day. And then what he told me, now I went from posting maybe 30 videos a month to 300 videos a month. And yeah, which I mean, I haven't been consistent with 100 video or 10 videos a day. It's been mostly 5 videos a day and in some here and there skip days. But my goal is to be posting 10 videos a day every day. And you're not supposed to miss a day, which is a lot of pressure. But that's how you keep the ball rolling. Is like YouTube just wants content. And it doesn't matter how many views you get on them, doesn't matter if you get, 10 views on this video and 100,000 views on the next video. They just want you to be posting content. And so I asked him, I was like, dude, how are you posting this many? How? Like, I can barely even get one out. And I was like, do you have an editor? Do you have someone helping you? And he goes, I don't edit my videos. When I tell you, my mind pretty much just froze. Like the error, the AOL error sign popped up, and I was just like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't edit my videos. They're all one take." And I go, "Well, but I always thought like people liked them edited more. Like I thought that was, psychologically people their attention spans want quick cuts and zooms and funny clips and like." And he was
Orion
like,
reacts.
yeah, exactly. He was like, nah, people don't really care. And I was like, what are you telling me right now? I was like, what do you mean people don't care? Literal mind blown. I think I went dumb for a few seconds. I was like, what? So everything he was telling me was opposite of what I've been doing. He was like, nope, don't edit your videos. And now every single video is one take. I don't mess up in my videos. I say what I mean to say. I'm very clear about it. And I don't edit them anymore, which is crazy.
Do you cut silence?
I don't have silence.
Never silence. Okay.
No.
There's times where I'll lose a word that I'm trying to say, and then I'll just zone out and I'll be like, oh, cut that part, and then get to the next part that
No.
actually makes sense, but you just don't cut it.
But see, once you know that you're not going to be making any cuts, you get better at and honestly, I didn't want to have to make any cuts. So I'd be like, all right, you better know what, and it's not that I know what I'm going to say ahead of time. It's just like I know that I need to be on it with what I'm saying, and it just comes more naturally. So since January, I started doing this in January, right? This is when Mr. L. Boyd and I started talking. And in December is when I hit 100,000 subscribers. I started doing this in January. We're in June, July. It's been like, oh my gosh, it's been 7 months. Oh my gosh. And I've gotten 50,000, almost 50,000 subscribers since then. So it's getting there. But yeah, he doesn't edit any of his videos, and he's like, you should be posting, 7 to 10 a day. Don't miss a day. And I was like, oh my gosh. And Chris over at 307 Reacts, we had talked about content before. We'd always kind of like, he was my go-to with bouncing ideas off each other and been like, hey, I'm struggling with this, with YouTube and this. And he had told me, it's better to just post, one solid video a day because, you don't want to be a fast food channel. You don't want to be fast food. You want to be the steak. And I love
Yes.
that. And I think with certain channels, absolutely. Like you don't want to be just posting crap out there every day. Like they still needs to be some quality content if you're going to be posting 10 videos a day. You don't want to just slack and be like, all right, it's 10 videos. And that's what he was saying. So he's not wrong in that at all. But, there wasn't an impression of like, okay, I could be posting more, but he's right. I don't want to be fast food channel. I don't want to be a fast food content. I want to be the steak. Everyone
Yep.
wants the steak and the mashed potatoes. I want to be that. And then over here, Mr. Boyd's like, no, you should be posting 10 videos a day. And I'm like, oh my, what do you mean? What do you mean? And
Opposite sides of the spectrum.
oh man, it felt so wrong. Everything he told me to do felt wrong.
And it worked out.
And it worked out. And so, and I passed that on to Chris. I was like, dude, I gotta tell you something. And I mean, him and Matt have full-time jobs and stuff like that. So they don't, have the opportunity to be posting 10 videos a day like I do. Hopefully someday. I know they'll get there someday. They're almost at 30,000 subscribers and they are just killing it, doing that full time. Like, I love it. But yeah, so that's my new work ethic, is trying to post as many videos a day as I can. And hopefully, I think the goal for this year is to end at 200,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That answered one of my last questions there. But
Cool.
this all goes back to the idea of luckiness and privilege and gratefulness and blessings, and with blessings comes the true understanding that God's will is going to give us success in any path that is the right path that we choose. My biggest question for you, with the final thing that you say in every video, I love it. It's been my favorite. If anyone hasn't told you today, I love you, God loves you. Now, my question is, was this always a mentality that you had? Were you like raised religious, or did you find God later in time?
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing this. This is awesome. I was hoping we talk about this. So no, I wasn't raised religious. No one in my family is religious at all. I had friends that would invite me to like the youth group in junior high, and I was like, yeah, I want to go hang out with you guys. Like that sounds fun. And so I went, and that's when I got introduced to Jesus. And I was just like, whoa, like I'm interested. I was very curious. I wanted to know more about it. And I ended up going to a church camp at Hume Lake. And that was when I dedicated my life to Jesus, accepted him as my Lord and Savior. And I just never felt that kind of love before. I'd never felt the way that I felt at that church camp. It was just on a different level. It's hard to explain. And that's when I was like introduced to him and loved it. And then high school came, the church group that I was supposed to be going to was very cliquey, didn't like it. also high school is hard for everybody. I wasn't a Christian in high school. A couple months before I decided to move to Virginia, I started going to the young adults group. One of my old youth group leaders messaged me and she's like, Carlie, why don't you go to the young adults group at the church? And I was like, I didn't even know there was one. Like I didn't have a relationship with God. I was just trying to get through life and it was all right. Like I don't know. But I didn't have that many friends at the time. And she, like I said, I was trying to put myself in uncomfortable situations. So she was like, why don't you go? And I was like, okay, when is it? And she's like, tonight. So I was like, okay, like I gotta go. What? There's no reason why I can't go. So I went and just fell in love with it. I met some great people that brought me closer to him. And it was mostly like a Bible study with, people our age. And that's when I became friends with my good friend who we ultimately moved here. But once I moved here, I joined the young adults group here. I go to a friggin' amazing church. The pastor is amazing. It's been life-changing and I've really just grown so immensely in my faith. And I just can't see living without it now. I can't see going back. I can't see living without, faith in God. And truly all the blessings that have come out of it to my life is astounding. It's inexplainable. But yeah, so given YouTube, I'm constantly trying to find the purpose. I'm like, why did God give me this? Why am I here? Why am I the chosen one to do this YouTube channel? Like, why me? And also, how do I glorify God with this? How, if he gave me this, how am I supposed to bring glory to this in a way? And I started thinking, I was like, what's something that I can say that brings God into every video, just very subtly. And at my old church back in California, our pastor would always say, when we all sit down and he's like, hey, has anyone told you today that they love you? And he goes, well, I love you and God loves you too. And I was like, man, I love that. I was like, oh, that is awesome. Because not enough people are told that they're loved each day. Like there are people that never get told that, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
And also people don't get told, hey, God loves you too. Like he's there. Even if I didn't, God does. So that came from my pastor at my old church, and that was a way for me to start incorporating my faith and to just really spread love. And that's the goal with the videos is I just want people to feel loved. I want people to leave the video happier than they were before they started watching it, and to really just bring glory to God for giving me a platform like this.
It's so nice to know that the impression that this pastor had on you made it into a motto to be the ultimate ending to almost every video. I think, yeah, every video. And it is refreshing. It is refreshing because, like you said, we want to have a smile on our face when we leave. And Alex Hefner was very specific about this as well. He's like, there are times that things get rough, but I want you guys to come here and have a good time with me. Yep. And like you've said as well, like escape from your stuff. And I tried to do the same. I followed in your footsteps. We all have our impression that we're getting from somebody else. And we really do choose our life to follow in that path. And I believe that what we're doing is, just correct and in God's will in order to reach as many people as we are. And it's a beautiful thing that it is paying off. And I've had enormous amounts of experience with the church and youth ministry when I was in high school. I've strayed away from specifically the religion, but I've never lost my faith in God. And I feel his presence as much as possible. And I try to spread the good news and goodwill of his teachings. But at the same time, it's like I look up to you so much, Carlie. You have this kind of genuine care for your audience. That's something that a lot of channels suffer with, is like keeping the audience around, giving them a nickname. You got the Shaniacs, and they're here for you. They give you that same smile that you're giving us right now. Like that overjoyed personality is what we come for, and you bring it every single time. What would you like to say to the Shaniacs before we finish? I have one more thing that might cause you to grab some tissues.
Oh no, not the tissues. Well, I do want to say I think I'm just so genuine about you guys is because I wouldn't be here without you guys. I would not have the life that I have without every single subscriber. Like, and it's not just an accumulated number to me, it's each individual person that makes almost 150,000 people. And I have a lot of love. I have a big heart. I'm known for that, and I'm happy to spread that. I grew up watching Jenna Marbles during really hard times. I would watch her videos and she would make me feel like I had a friend, and I want to be that for people. I want to be the way Jenna Marbles made me feel. And life is very hard, and it can be lonely and scary and sad. And I just want people to know that I'm always here for you. Don't plan on going anywhere unless YouTube, kicks my butt somewhere. But I just want to say thank you to you for being a supporter for so long. Like that is just amazing. And for having me be here today, and to just all the community, all the Shaniacs. I feel blessed and like so undeserving, and it's an amazing experience, and I definitely hope to not let you guys down. I don't plan to. So.
That is so nice, and you are absolutely well deserving of everything that you get. It's so beautiful. Like I said, I've been watching you for 3 years. Every time that I see somebody that I like really love, like one of my favorite channels was PJ Mills. I got to interview him. He's like technically my first interview, and he's a music video director, so I'll probably recommend one of his videos for you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he was like my big thing, and the fact that I was able to chat with him through his live stream that he had randomly in the middle of 2020, right around the same time I met you and your channel and everything like that. I was like, this is God's will. I'm supposed to talk to these people. They're supposed to give me some advice. I'm supposed to go somewhere with this, right? You can't just take these blessings and be like, another time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, take them and run with them.
Yeah, so my calling happened and all of that is in place, and I feel so grateful to have this experience to talk with you right now, and to be able to tell you specifically that your smile brings my day light, joy, happiness.
Oh.
I listened to over like 500 of your reactions a couple weeks ago because I was like, I got to catch up. I don't want to miss out on anything, right? I want to make sure that I got all my context correct. Like,
wow.
Going back to knowing your Slipknot and when first video you did for Tom McDonald and a couple other artists, and I was just like, I need to make sure that the dedication that I feel from like if I wanted to have a fan, like what would I really, really want? And I was like, I need to be that fan for her. I need to be that fan for all of my favorites. And I'm trying my best to put time while I work to listen to all of your guys' content because it means that much to me. And I really, really hope that you feel that from all the Shaniacs, all the new people, and even the haters. But you guys are funny. You guys are real funny. There's nothing to hate
out
here.
There.
This is like a perfect channel, guys. You can't hate anything perfect, right?
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome, Carlie.
I do want to say you're killing it. Don't ever stop. I think that's where people they miss out. They just stop doing it and then they give up. And even if it doesn't feel like it's progressing, even if you post a video and it gets 2 views, you made 2 people's day there. And you got to think about each individual person as a view instead of, the number, but just don't give up. There's a reason why some people make it and some people don't. And I think that's one of the key reasons. So you're doing fantastic. You're bringing people joy. You've made my day today, made my week. This has been so much fun. And I'm glad we finally were able to sit down and talk. And I'm glad my alarm woke me up, so I'm awake now. But you're killing it, and I look forward to your growth and success.
Thank you so much. And just by the way that I was saying that we look up to all of the people that put an impression on us, I am starting reaction streams next week. That's right. Reaction streams are coming back onto the channel. I'll probably have to talk to you and a couple other people on how to get the copyrights and whatever, because last time they striked me. By the way,
we don't want that.
Yeah, have you ever got the strike and you had to watch the Happy Tree Friends video?
Yes.
And you look at it and you're just like, what if this is a kid?
Yep.
Happy Tree Friends is not child friendly.
Nope.
What is up with this, YouTube? You guys are like, oh, let's be careful about everything. And you're like, not safe for kids, duh.
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started on YouTube and their policies. That's a whole nother podcast for oh my gosh.
But yeah, I'll be doing that every Monday at night, and I'll try to do as much as I can to promote it. And I think I'll be probably just doing it secretively on Discord so that people can find it through that link. But regardless, thank you so much, Carlie, for being here with me, for talking with me, answering my questions, giving me your patience, your time. Everything was so magical. I loved this experience. A true blessing to have one of my favorite YouTubers of all time on my channel, on my podcast. Overall, you just mean so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This has been a great experience.
All right, guys, if you want to give Carlie some love, she absolutely deserves it. Make sure that you guys are going to that description down below, and you'll probably be like, wait a second, Dan, why the heck are you promoting somebody bigger than you? And I'll be like, because you promote anyone that deserves that respect. And they absolutely do. Carlie Shea, SheaWhatNow, all of her channels will be in the links in the description down below. Go help her out. Watch everything. And if you catch up to me and you've reached 2,500 videos, whenever that's going to be in the future, then we can chat about how awesome she is together. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. I hope all of you have an awesome day and stay safe out there. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Media Man Dan podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening, have an awesome day, and stay safe out there. Peace.